I am Mistress Babylon of the sect of the Horn God. Recently, I have been asked, actually many times in the past, I have been asked what my credentials are in being able to call myself a Satanist. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I am a Satanist, and I term myself as an atheistic Satanist because I say I am. I don't need, nobody needs credentials on something like that. I think maybe what people are trying to get at is, I'm hoping, what's my education? I've got lots of education. I am an ER nurse. I was in the faculty of religious studies. I was a ramp model, ramp and print model actually for many years. But that's not where I draw my knowledge from in terms of my Satanism. I draw that, like many people, from what their life experiences. My background, unlike many Satanists though, is pagan. My mother raised us pagan, and which was a very interesting time. She started when we were quite young, and my father is, my father was an officer in the military when this all started happening, and this was in the 70s though. In the 70s, in terms of paganism, was also a turbulent time for the women's movement, and I certainly remember that correlation with paganism. And you know, I thought it was really stupid then, and I still think it's stupid now. The women's movement fusing with paganism. I remember my mom taking us to many Dianic circles. I remember my mother wanting to take my son to a festival in Michigan, and I think it was Michigan anyway, but he wasn't allowed to go because he was a boy child. I certainly have not ever met a satanic woman that has a whole lot good to say about the feminist movement, especially during that time period, during the 70s. It was really just like another faith, and essentially they became what they hated. And I still think that holds true to this day. Satanic women are far too independent. But in my other videos, I've also mentioned, in terms of my background, I was certainly an advocate to legalize witchcraft and in support of Satanism in Canada. And at the risk of losing my children, the government did try to take my children away from me because I have been in the media so many dozens of times. That's my background. Those are not credentials. I am a Satanist because I say I am, and it's something I feel very strongly about. I was lucky enough during the last 30 years to be able to have a woman like my mother in my life because of the amazing books that were on the shelf, her support in critical thinking, her patience with me as I clawed my way through this in trying to figure it out, and not many people have that, and I realize I'm extremely fortunate in having her in my life, and she's still around, you know. She's the woman's a hoot. But so when somebody asks me for my credentials, I look at it as coming from a point of arrogance. And you're not really interested in knowing about me. You are just more interested in thinking you're smarter than me. And the only thing I can say about that is go fuck yourself.